Hello, welcome back. I haven't done a video in a long time. We've been really busy. So what we're going to talk about today is the chicken coop company. We picked up this chicken coop from them about a month ago, and this is their second biggest chicken coop that they sell. Is it the second biggest? Hold on. They have a small one without as big of a run, and then they have two after this. Anyway, it's not the smallest one. Let's go with that. And it's the Orpington Lodge with run extension. Comes all together as one thing. They do have it with this stain, this color stain. You get it like that. However, I did put this garden seal stuff on it because they say that stain is just a primer, and now that when it gets wet outside, that garden seal stuff, you can see where it kind of didn't dry so good and it beads up, but then when it's not wet out, that goes away. So I don't know how good of a situation that might be, but we'll see what happens in the long run. Maybe I can give a review on it you know, down the road. So one of the things with this is overall it's been a great coop so far. Like I said, we've only had it a month. The steel wire is really nice and sturdy. You can see the feeders kind of hanging on it right now. It does give a little support right here, but that's going to get raised up, and I have no worries about hanging that feeder up without it sitting on the wood. And you see the girls running around there, they're liking it pretty good. It's got these nice windows that, you know, open and close nice. These do latch like that. That works really well. You got a vent here in the back along with this nice sized door, and then another, you know, you got the other window over here with the other nesting boxes on both sides. I think they say this is for 4 to 6 birds. I think 4 is probably where you're going to want to be at. I did add some screws to it overall, you know, some in here. Not all of it lined up as well as it should have. You can see here, these were pre-manufactured screws, holes, and we had to put it further over because the roof did not line up with where it was supposed to be, and how they said in the instructions. And it's possible that could be due to a little bit of unlevelness in the ground. I guess I'm not quite sure overall. I know that they do talk about on their website that these move up and down to help with where you're on level, and you can see that I do have locks on them. That is because I live in this city, and I just don't want any issues from anybody. I can have chickens in the city. I do have a permit for having chickens, so that has nothing to do with it. We're not home a lot during the day, and it's very exposed. Like if you turn here, you can see the street out there. I just don't want to have any problems, so that's why I have the locks on it. Let me go ahead and open up here, and we'll do this through the magic of video, and you'll see the inside. Okay, so now we are looking inside the chicken coop. Oh, I need to throw some bedding in there. It's got roosting bars down here, one up here, and I will say for the roosting bars, this one I had to put screws in it to keep it in place, and also the roosting bars out in the coop itself, or the run, I had to secure them with screws as well. Otherwise they would have just kind of fallen out from time to time. They were in there very loosely. And on the video when they put it together from the chicken coop company, it shows them with having to kind of snap those in there like they're really tight. That wasn't the case with us. And again, maybe it's because it's maybe a little on level or something like that. It does come with these hasps that come to go where I had my lock. I think you get one of those for every spot, I think. The one thing I will tell you, that when you go to change the bedding, you can see here, okay, I just pulled it a little bit and that scared the birds, but this bar here for the framing of the door and the roosting bars help keep you from pulling this tray out easily. So you can't just take the whole tray out and dump it into a big garbage bag or take it over to your garden and dump it in your garden. You have to take 90% of that bedding out of the floor before you can pull that tray out. So, you know, maybe that's, you know, if that's going to be one of my complaints, it's a small complaint. There were a couple issues with having a few broken pieces when I did receive it, and whether that was the chicken coop company's fault or not, whether it happened in shipping, but there was a piece right under here, under the roof of the nesting box, that I ended up having to wood glue back in place, and there was another small piece that I had to wood glue back in place, and that was it. So it did come in 3 different boxes, and I do have a time lapse of me putting this garden seal on the run, and maybe part of the chicken coop, that I might throw in there, so you might have a little bit of a idea of some of the box sizes and that type of thing. But I feel like it has a pretty good amount of space for 4 birds in there. It did go together fairly easy, but truth be told, that was with my wife reading the instructions and telling me what to do. Sometimes we just know that that's how it works better. Let's be honest now. Come on, that's how a lot of things work sometimes. So that's that. So I mean, overall it works really well so far. It has been waterproof on the inside. There hasn't been anything leaking on the inside. They do have this plastic flashing, you know, kind of like what you would see if you ever walked into a walk-in cooler. That's kind of the type of plastic that they give you with this. I can see over time that, you know, maybe by the end of summer this might start to roll up from the heat a little bit, and you can see actually it is raised here a little bit, and you can tell that there is moisture that gets under there, but it's not getting in there in the coop. So that is doing its job. They give you this little strip here that goes over that. I mean, it's working as intended. I have moved it once and then moved it back to its original spot, although I guess I would not recommend moving it. It's not really a coop that's designed to be moved. So I guess once you get it in its spot, kind of leave it where it is. And the chickens will take the grass down to dirt, so you can see that we did put wood chips in there, in the run. We've got a whole little pile of wood chips. So that's that. And let me open one of these nesting boxes for you. We'll go around to the other side here. Okay, so here we are. You know, for the nesting boxes, they give you these nice hooks on here that will hook up there, you know, 2 on each one, plus each one has a stick, that a prop stick that comes up if you want to do it that way. So that's nice that you have that. And the chickens, you know, they're not old enough to produce eggs yet. However, they don't try and, you know, leave the coop or anything like that when you have any of the doors open. You know, if you're doing you know, it's nice that you have this bar to close the door and open the door from the outside. So if you have maintenance to do on the inside, you can just easily close that door and do your thing. But and I do close it, but they don't, it's like they don't try and get out. I've had this door open several times doing what I need to do with the water and the feeder and all that, and they just walk past it and don't try and leave. And that's good. So one thing that I did do is that we did start out with having the chickens out here a little early in the season, and I got a plate heater, and this plate heater I hang on these 2 screws and run the cord, and the cord squeaks right through there, through this little gap, and that works really well. I don't intend on really using that unless it gets really super cold this winter, because by that time, because it's June right now, so by that time they'll slowly acclimate to the cold. It's just that they were pretty young when we had them out here to begin with, when it was getting cold. So full disclosure, I did reach out to the chicken coop company and asked if they wanted to do a sponsor on this video, or on a video, or several videos. And that was, oh gosh, right after I ordered it. And they do have a thing on there, on the chicken coop company, if you go on their website, they do have a thing saying that if you have questions, they are real people and they will respond. I'm not trying to say anything bad, but I did reach out to them for to see if they wanted to sponsor. And it was silence. I didn't get an email back, I didn't get a phone call, nothing. So it is what it is. Do they have a good product? Yes. I will say yes, they have a good product. Maybe it was electronic. Things don't work sometimes when you send off an email, or you actually do it through their system on their website. They have a thing that you go through. So maybe it didn't work. But when they do state that they are real people and they answer their emails and that type of thing, and you don't hear back, it is a little discouraging. But with that said, they, so far so good. They do have a good product. One thing that I would like to see is that if these top pieces, if at least one of them were hinged, that would be a nice improvement. And then if there was an option to fully have the top covered, whether it be something that you can snap on and take off, or that type of thing. I guess I'm just thinking kind of like for snow in the winter time, to have it fully covered. But obviously that's easily done with you could get a 1/4 inch piece of ply, or a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood, not even a 1/4, and you could put that on there, in, you know, a treated piece or whatever, and that would help with the snow, to help keep some of the snow out of the chicken coop, because from what I understand, the birds really don't like the snow, and they're gonna have to come out for their water and their feed. You know, I guess anyway, like I said, it would be nice to have one of these top pieces open. And the other thing that would be really super handy on this is that if the bottom here, if this middle section underneath the tray, if that were to fold down or open up, or even if it was an old barn style door type thing where it was split down the middle and those opened, that would be tremendously useful for spreading out the bedding and that type of thing. So right now what you do is, you know, once you take all the bedding out of the tray, you pull that tray out and then you put the bedding down in there. But if you don't have to change it at that time, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's just a minor thing. It would just be more convenient to have a door back here underneath for the chicken run area as well. But overall, it has turned out so far to be a great coop, and hopefully I can give an update down the road. that in the future, and then we can do, you know, some other videos